Only from here.
Oh, Sparrow sounds so cool. I'm gonna have to send you to do my voiceover, Sparrow.
Not
Yeah,
the right case, yeah.
absolutely. Emma agrees. All right, let's see. I know Adrian is gung ho, but sometimes he pops in just a few minutes later. So, oh, good. Savior is here now. See, everyone's coming in. Sometimes I think there's a little difference in conductivity time from Africa to America, and it may be the same thing. Uh, Adrian's coming in from England. Ephraim, how are you doing today, our artist in residence?
I'm doing very well, sir. Thank you so much. Hi,
We
everyone. And how you doing too, sir?
Oh, look, Adrian's here now. Wonderful.
Oh,
Yeah, we used to have a banner. Now I just hung our new T-shirt, which I'm wearing as well, and it's in our mug. Uh, there's Adrian. All right.
Yeah. Apologies, I had some technical issues getting on.
Okay, you were last with us, Adrian, in October. All our students are in their 20s. You're a little bit older. How come you look younger than you did in October? This is a testimony to fitness.
Absolutely. Getting good sleep, drinking plenty of water, and making sure that I stay active definitely helps to keep me young. Chasing
Well,
after my
those,
son as well.
yes, yes. Those are all the right answers we'd expect our fitness expert to give. You passed the test. I, of course, am drinking coffee out of our AAHEF mug and
Nice.
wearing the new AAHEF t-shirt. So we have to get all of our scholars will be getting our new t-shirt, but we definitely have to get a t-shirt to Adrian. I think everyone is a little late today, but they're all coming on now. Our artist in residence is here, Ephraim, and our director of academic achievement is here. And I have another super duper introductory video that we produced in honor of your appearance. But before I unveil it, I'm vamping a bit because people are coming in, if that's okay with you, Adrian.
Yes, absolutely. Again, I was tardy, so I don't mind if we take a few minutes here to allow people to join the call. I know we're all in different time zones, so.
Hey, thank you. You missed your cue. You were supposed to say, well, Robert, you're looking younger too. I don't think so, though, right? There's been a lot of stress. Oops, you froze up. I think Adrian froze, so I will not be getting any compliment on my supposed youth. How are you doing, our director of academic achievement, Mr. UM Nesfield? Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too, boss. I'm good. I'm doing good. Happy Sunday. Happy June.
Thank you, brother. We're in our matching AAHEF tees.
Yeah.
And thank you, Ephraim Udoka, who helped design it. Adrian is back. I was joking, Adrian, and saying, no one's telling me I look younger. So that means I probably need these fitness tips more than my scholars.
You look great.
With us, and Ephraim's smiling, is Ephraim Udoka, our artist in residence who actually designed our new AAHEF look, our director of academic achievement, Nesfield. And uh, Adrian has a wonderful son, Atlas. I think he's soon to be 3 years old. Is that correct, Adrian? Yeah, I think you have to unmute.
I'm muted. Yes, there we
Oh,
go. Yeah, that's correct. He'll be 3 in July.
wow.
Oh.
And his son is Icon, Atlas
Yeah.
and Icon, these great names. And he's 7, a very gifted, charming child. And he might make a little appearance with us later when we're doing some stretching and such. So
Yeah.
very cool. So thank you for being with us, of course, UM. With us
Thank you.
also is Emmanuel Equer, who is our medical laboratory science major. And Emmanuel has been in his white coat recently, going to hospitals in his studies, and has been enjoying that so much. And when Emma and I talk, that's his nickname, Adrian, he talks about needing that stamina for his studies. So this will come in so handy, your return to us today. Say hello to Adrian, Emma, please. Unmute.
Yeah, you have to unmute.
We heard you before, Emma. All right, all right. Can we hear you, Emma? Have you unmuted? All right, we'll get you to say hello later. We have others coming up, but
Okay.
Victor, oh, there you are. Is that you, Emma? Go ahead.
Yeah. Good evening, all. It's very, very nice to meet Sir Andre again. After, I think the last time we saw was November or December. Yeah. I'm happy to meet you again. And as our mentor said, you are looking more younger than the last time we saw you. And I know today will be a wonderful day again with you. I also regard Mr. Nephews and the Ephraim Odaka also. I'm happy to meet you all. Thank you.
Well, it's good to see you, Emmanuel, again.
Yes, I looked at the calendar. Adrian was last with us in October, and everyone has always been asking for him to come back. And some of our students in our introductory video for Adrian even give testimonial about that. And I thank you, Emma. I know Emma's been jogging in the middle of things, so he'll tell you more about that later. And again, we're going to get up on our feet. Victor Udo is with us. His nickname is Sparrow. We're so proud of Sparrow. Did he fall out? No, he's with us. He is a major in medicine and surgery. So please say hello to Adrian Sparrow.
Greetings once again. I'm glad to be here. It is with delight and immense pleasure to be present in today's meeting, and I'm sending greetings to you, Mr. Adrian. And you're looking very young and energetic, and I feel it's actually because of your major, like a fitness coach, also to say. But I know quite well that exercise is actually the best therapy for human livelihood. So you're looking so cool, and I extend my greetings to the people here in the person of Mr. Nursfield. My regards to you, and I hope you're enjoying your new month, and also Ephraim and to all the person in the call. I'm glad to be here, and I feel so welcome once again. So thank you once again.
You're welcome, Sparrow.
Thank you.
Yes, I don't think Sparrow was with us last time, Adrian. So it's so exciting that he's joining us and finally getting to meet you, because everyone has been bragging about your first appearance and your return, and now Sparrow gets to experience this firsthand. And what a great way to begin June. If anything, Adrian, my Nigerian scholars have taught me over the years to celebrate the new month with hope and special planning, and always letting in, of course, God's guidance and grace. It's a beautiful thing, a wonderful Nigerian tradition. So we're so happy to carry that spirit in our June seminar, this series we have with Adrian joining us for June 1st. It's a very special vibe. How are you feeling about the new month, Adrian? I know you're one of the most optimistic people I know.
Yeah, thank you for, again, bringing me here, and appreciate all the introductions from everyone. I share the same joy, as you said, you learn from the scholars at the beginning of each month. Each month is an opportunity to start again and to also lean into what was working in the previous month, right? It's an opportunity to learn, to continue to grow, and continue to stay focused. So we're halfway through the year, right? June, the 6th month. So it's a good time to reflect on the goals that we set at the beginning of the year. The new year, new you, right? Is it really a new you? Have you made a lot of progress there? These different intentions that we set at the beginning of the year. I find that June, going into July, June, July is a good time to check in with those, see what progress you've made on your goals, see where you can keep going, see where you need to change, and keep driving forward towards the end of the year. So I'm feeling great. I think this is a good time, a good month, and I'm looking forward to all that June has to offer.
Thank you for reminding me, Adrian, that this is the halfway point, because that too is so meaningful. And all of us, I know, because we really love to interact with each of our scholars, and Ephraim and I, our artist in residence, talk about this a lot, the lofty goals we have for the new year. Well, there's one thing, if many, that Adrian stands for, which is the small wins. So remember, friends, and we'll be talking about this a lot today through the thread of our theme, do not overwhelm yourself, even though there's that halfway point, because as Adrian is saying, every day's a new day, and it's the small wins that add to the big wins. So how interesting to remind us of that 6-month point too, but not to be overwhelmed by any means. I want to introduce a couple of more students. We seem to be more intimate than not. Maybe others will be coming. Then I want to play the introductory produced video for Adrian. And then what I want to do is something different. I want to interview Adrian about some key points in his life. And I think it will be illustrious, because the more we hear about Adrian's story and his journey and how it relates to our thematic of our purpose and our passion and our gift, and how fitness supports that, the more authentic we hear about, the more specific Adrian's story is, the more it actually reverberates with your own story. And then we're going to get up and breathe, and we have casual clothes on. We're going to do all that fun stuff. So let me introduce 2 more students, if you don't mind. This is our graduate in geology, Victor Essick. And this is fun because Adrian was taking a run recently. And you guys, I have to give you links after the seminar to his wonderful Instagram page. When he was taking a jog, and he was saying, you know what, if you're not near the gym, use nature as the gym. And he was lifting boulders and throwing them down where no one would be injured, but it was his way of using nature to lift some weights, squatting properly so he didn't injure his back. I think it's phenomenal. We're going to talk a little bit more about that, but no coincidence that we do have a geology major who works in rocks and everything else. So say hello, Victor Essick, please. Unmute. I know you're talking, but please unmute so we can hear you.
Oh, sorry, that was a very big mistake. I didn't notice. Okay, hello, and a very big happy new month to Mr. Adrian and our executive officer, and as well as our fellows, as Mr. Nesfield. I can cite you happy new month. Mr. Imudoka, I've been seeing your work in a lot of great designs on social media. Sparrow, Pure. I got Emmanuel with his yes, he was the one yesterday, Champions League. Mr. Adrian, confess, my fellow scholars and executive director is not lying about that. You're young, beside time, I'm going to do this fitness. I'm very serious in my life because I want to look young every year. So let me seize this opportunity to say that you are welcome, and we're happy to see you and meet you once again. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's so nice to hear from you, Victor, and you look great too. So when we give compliments, you deserve them back. Thank you, Victor. You sound good too. We're so proud of you and your recent graduation, by the way. And last but not least, in our little intimate group, is Xavier Udo, who is our graduate in religious studies. Such a gifted young man, and he's on his way to the student military, which is very prolific because Adrian had quite a career in the military before he ventured off into being a renowned global fitness coach. Please say hello to us, Xavier. It's so good that you're with us. Remember to unmute.
All right, sir. Hello, sir. Happy New Month, sir.
Happy New Month.
Happy
You
New
look
Month,
great.
sir.
Yeah.
All right. Yes, sir. You look great as well. So I'm so grateful to God Almighty, of course, for yet another privilege to assemble here once again. Of course, thanks to our dear kinetic coach in the person of Idris. I think the last time we met was it around October, something like that. And then, of
Yes.
course, Mr. OM and others, I really appreciate, and God, it's a joy to see you all here. So once again, I think this will be a great privilege. I'm so glad to be here once again to learn. Of course, there is always a say that no knowledge is a waste. Of course, by this privilege, I think I'll be able to learn new things, and then, of course, getting more younger, just like our amiable coach. Thank you so much, sir. It's a privilege, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Xavier. You look fantastic as always, and this is the best lighting and sound you've ever had on a Zoom. So that's an extra blessing. Thank you for being with us, Adrian. I started a trend. Every student has said you look younger and incredible. So there. This was not supposed to be a vanity Zoom, but what can you do? If you look good, you look good. You know. All right. Pray for. Yes. Please take it. Now, please pray for me. Let's see if I could nail this share properly. Okay, I'm gonna hit share sound. I'm gonna hit optimize. I'm gonna go to this video, and this is our introductory video for Adrian. Let's see. Let's see if it's here, please. And I'm gonna hit it. Oh, we're gonna unmute and start again. Talking of can everyone see it? Yes? Did I hear a yes? All right, let me unmute it, and I think we got it. Let's welcome back the globally renowned Adrian Richardson to our AAHEF Sunday in June series. Known as the lead coach of the popular Fitbit app, a certified sleep coach, and a strength and conditioning coach, Adrian's passion for exercise and wellness started as a youth and continued in the U.S. Army, experiencing firsthand the importance of physical preparation. Then Adrian went on a new mission to find personal peace while helping men and women reframe the idea that workouts are only done in the gym, to understanding that how we think, exercise, and sleep are the keys to a long-lasting life of vitality. Adrian's fresh, friendly approach affirms daily small wins that keep his clients and our AAHEF scholars motivated and moving forward. Adrian's last appearance with us garnered much positive student feedback. Here, Andy shares his gratitude.
At our last seminar, just before I embarked on the youth military training, I was anxious and uncertain. But Adrian, our amazing fitness coach, told me something simple yet powerful. He said, "I believe you will scale through. Believe in yourself." Those words stuck with me. They gave me the strength to push forward. I also found the breathing exercise he taught us incredibly helpful. It helps me stay calm and focused.
Guys, could you please mute, everyone mute, so we can hear the video a little bit more without that noise? Thank you.
Thank you, Sir Adrian. It's a privilege to be coached by you.
And Sammy shares his enthusiasm with the lion's breath.
This is Samuel Okon, a major in business administration and management, and also a military personnel. I want to use this time to welcome our fitness coach on our second Zoom meeting, Mr. Adrian, which on our first Zoom meeting, I learned the lion's breath, which has helped me in my day-to-day activity. The lion's breath.
Right on, Sammy. Now, Ephraim has this to say.
Adrian's sleep tips were greatly beneficial, and my neck thanks you. I'm so pleased to welcome Sir Adrian back to our June forum.
This is Robert-Allan Arno, Executive Director of the America to Africa Higher Education Foundation. I'm so proud to present our esteemed friend and a hero, Adrian Richardson, for a new forum titled Your Gift, Your Fitness, Taking the Action, Stronger, Smarter, More Focused, Part 2. All right, did everyone see and hear that? I hope. Yes?
Yes, I did. It
All
was
right, good. I
Yeah.
had to practice that because sometimes, technology is weird. So I hope you enjoyed that, Adrian, and we were able to get more feedback from Sammy and from Andy and Ephraim, who is with us.
Yeah, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for putting that together, and definitely appreciate the feedback and hearing the impact of the last session that it's had on the lives of a few of the scholars, and just the appreciation. It means a lot to me that y'all took so much from it, and it just makes me happy to be here again to have this conversation, to check in with you all, to see your progress, and to share some more tips to keep you going and as you move forward.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. So everyone, scholars, I think you've been seeing some of the postings, and I shared this with Adrian, and I think there's a confluence when things all come together. Yeah, Ephraim said, too bad I didn't see it from the beginning because he kind of lost conductivity. And I know Gideon is with us, joined us, who is our engineering major, and we'll say hello to you in a few moments, Gideon. Thank you for being with us. In my life, there's been a confluence. I was taking a book course online with the great Dr. Edith Eger, who wrote the book, The Choice. She's a Holocaust survivor, and she became one of the top therapists in the field of trauma. And lo and behold, one of my personal sheroes, Oprah, made a live appearance with us. And Oprah talked about a concept which my pastor was talking about in Bible study this morning, the great Dr. Derek Harkins, who worked with the Obama administration. And it's this: everybody, think right now about your lives, even though you're youthful in your 20s, are college scholars. And think about a thread, not threat, but thread that has run through your life from the very beginning as a child through now your college career and previously your high school work. And what is your passion? What is your calling? What is your gift? And sometimes we have to sit quietly with that and listen to that still small voice, which some of us think is the Holy Spirit or God speaking to us. And of course, friends, so much of your passion, your purpose, your calling, your gift has to do with why you have your major. And each of your majors is so distinct. And I forgot to ask you to mention your major when you introduced yourself, but inadvertently I may have mentioned your major. And how can your passion, your calling, your gift, your major eventually be your gift or your offering to the world? It's very lofty. And yet it could be so simple because that gift and that passion may have already been with you. It almost sounds like the Broadway show, The Wiz, where the Wizard of Oz, it was always with you. And I think our message today is how fitness and self care, including the breathing and the sleep tips, supports your gift and your offering to the world. Because if we don't have fitness and stamina, we can't execute those gifts that are given to us. So it's a beautiful concept. I just want you to think about that because now I want to interview Adrian. And I think what was so interesting, and watch this, friends, the more authentic Adrian's response is about his own life, the more it will reverberate with your own unique life. The big theme, too, is uniqueness. We all have a uniqueness. So let me interview Adrian for a while because you all are big fans of his. So let's get to know him more. And then we're going to participate and you're going to know yourselves more. I think what was so interesting to me, Adrian and scholars, is this time when I made the video and our Nesfield, our director of academic achievement, edited beautifully for me. Some of it were the same biographical words about you, Adrian, and some were some new things. But I read it as a voice actor totally differently because of this theme that has been going through my head. And I thought it was so fascinating, Adrian, that as a youth, your passion for fitness and self-care was there from a very young age. So could you tell me about that, where you grew up? And I know you were involved with the church because when we fellowshipped and had a meal, you told me about that. But where did that passion come in from such an early age?
There we go. Excellent question and great memory on thinking back to our time meeting up here in London. I did grow up in the church from Sacramento, California originally, and my family was very involved in the Baptist Church. Macedonia Baptist Church was my church home in Sacramento. And I was involved in everything from ushering to the youth choir, going out and doing visits to the convalescent homes, delivering food to people that are elderly and delivering food to food banks. My grandmother also kept foster children as well. So, you know, the act of service in addition to fitness has always been quite big with me. And I feel that as I, become an adult and worked into my career, I've intertwined both of those, the service aspect as well as the fitness aspect. And growing up, we also, had a garden. And so I was always outside and just trying to be in the dirt and really understanding how things worked, right? So how a seed could then become an actual plant or grow into a tree, and then the fruits of the tree and all the things you could do with the different fruits and how healthy it was and ways to make meals out of it and preserve them. All of these things were a big part of my growing up. And so that faith aspect plus the service aspect plus then being outside and using my body and seeing that, oh, I'm stronger, I can move a wheelbarrow, I can dig and plant different seeds, I can harvest and help the family. That just stuck with me, and as I got older I was able to transition that from gardening and farming into athletics in middle school and high school. So I started running track and field, went to Junior Olympics a couple of times, Houston and Atlanta, and then got to high school, continued to run track, and then started playing basketball as well. Also still very studious, and so was very academic and, went on along that track. So I had a bit of a fork in the road, ending high school, opportunity to go out of state and continue athletics or to stay in California and pursue academics. And I chose the academic route and went to UC Irvine, versus going to Texas to run track or going to Mississippi to play basketball. And you know, things work out how they work out. So that was obviously the right choice for me. You know, there's no real hindsight there for me. I think that you're presented with options, you take the best one, and life gives you many more options, right? And so I'm very fortunate for the choice that I made, and I think obviously it shaped me into the person that I am today. I saw you had a question there, so I'll pause there. That's a big chunk of my past, but let's open the floor up.
I'm just extremely touched that immediately in your answer, the faith component and the humanitarian component is so intrinsic in your even earliest passion and life journey. So I know everyone is feeling that resonance right now. What I wanted to ask is, because we're amid collegiate scholars at some of the top universities in Nigeria, what was your major in college? We never discussed that.
Yeah, I majored in economics. I started actually, I came into college computer science major, and then my sophomore year, I switched to economics with a minor in management.
Fascinating. And people, if as we listen to how diverse Adrian's interests are, and yet where, as he says, the fork in the road merges, the commonality. The shift to spend many years in the Army is so interesting. For me, I'm going to say it from my lexicon, being more of, not that you're not, but the artist, and you're one of the kindest people I know. And we think of the Army as so focused. And as we had said in your bio, once you were there, you really saw the need for preparation and fitness. How did the Army work for you, especially being a man of kindness and humanity? Of course, there's such a sense of responsibility to one's country. And I know some of our scholars who are in the student military, or Sammy, who's in the military, feel that same way.
Yeah,
tell us about that part of your journey. Forgive me, I was long-winded too.
No, that's fine. That's another good question here. You're really teeing them up, so I appreciate that. The military is a big part of who I am. You know, I joined right after high school. Actually, they had a program there. I don't know if they still do, but at the time, where you could join your junior year of high school. So the summer between your junior and senior year, you go off to basic training, come back, finish your last year of high school, and then before going to college, you go and you do a year of active duty with the unit that you're going to be assigned to. Then you come back, finish college, and you do weekend service while you're in school. And then once you finish school, then you go back and you're at that unit full time. So even while I was in college, I was in the military, and it was a bit odd at times, because as you said, the military, we do train, and our purpose is to fight, right? So we train for war, we train for conflict. You know, I wasn't in a civil affairs, or you know, more of a peacekeeping style unit. Like civil affairs, that go out and they'll, you know, deliver food and have meetings with like the local chieftains, and you know, make sure if there's a disaster, they're talking to the government. Like I wasn't in that type of unit. I was in a more of a high tempo, you know, jump out of planes and blow things up type of unit, which was great. I really enjoyed it. You know, it was a lot of fun. You know, the physical aspects of it, you know, putting on a big pack and, you know, going for miles and rappelling down ropes. I really enjoyed all that, the physicality of it. Just being able to use your mind to see the battlefield. I enjoyed all that stuff. However, the fork in the road, again, the other fork is that duality, right? Of like the softness and the kindness that you have to kind of push down at different times, because it's not necessary when you're in a dangerous situation, or when, you know, you need to be hard, right? There are times where that, like, you don't have the luxury of thinking with compassion. You have to react, and your training takes over and you do what you need to do. But the compassion comes in when you're seeing the positive effect that you're having for the population that you're there to save, or the people in your unit who you're working with, or the impact that you're having, or when you even come back home and the people of your country are thankful. So you see and feel that compassion then. But when you're in the midst of it, it's not really something that bubbles up to the top, or that you really allow to lead. You allow the training and the other aspects of the military to lead. And part of that other side of it is what eventually led me to finally, get out of the military, because I felt as though, for me, after being in for 11 years and, doing multiple war zone deployments, for longer periods of time in different places and things of that nature, I felt I was losing a little bit of myself, that softer side of me. And so I wanted to get that back. And so in order to do that, I couldn't stay in the unit I was in and doing the things that I was doing if I wanted to also be that other person, if that makes sense, right? And so
it makes a lot of sense.
For myself, it was the right decision at the right time to say, hey, I had a really good, I appreciate what you've done for me with the military, all the lessons I've learned about myself, the lessons I've learned about the world, being able to see. The first time I went on a international trip was in the military. First time I left the country was in the military, right? It's most of the travel I've done in the United States prior to getting a job that had me traveling a lot was through the military, right? And so there were I met a lot of really good people as well. And so I would never take that back. But as your life progresses, there's different stages, different chapters, and that chapter was closed. And so I looked forward to writing a new chapter and moving on and moving forward with my life.
Yeah, it's so interesting, because that passion, I'm going to hold you to this, jumping out of planes and blowing things up. I'm teasing you, but the passion for the activity was there. And yet, even amidst and it reminds me, even when, as actors, when you got to go on live, and make people happy or inform them, or for our college scholars that are under so much pressure, they got to get that term paper done. They have to focus and trust and take that test. It's like jumping out of a plane and blowing things up. You got to do it. But I like that juxtaposition where you were saying, but on the whole, you're standing for your country, you're protecting people. So there's that humane quotient as well. Moving on to that shift, I love the way you coined it, Adrian. It was time for personal peace. And I love when I get to say that when I narrate your bio now for a second time, and now I'm thinking of it differently. And then what I wanted to ask is, that shift for personal peace also has a juxtaposition where you became known on the world stage as a beloved figure, being the lead coach of Fitbit, and became so important to people like myself during the pandemic, where we were all so fearful and we needed that friendly countenance to be there for us so we could work out. So tell us more about that shift for personal peace, and yet becoming famous in a certain way.
Yeah, there was a big shift for personal peace, wanting to further grow my life, find a partner, settle down, put in some roots, since I had been quite transient prior to that, either overseas, different places in the States, for 6 months at a time, a year at a time, here or there. So really wanting to find a place to put down roots, settle physically, so that I could also settle mentally, right? And then of course the pandemic happens, and I had been in Oakland at that point for, I think, around 6 years when the pandemic finally hit. So that was the longest I'd ever been in one place at all, and I had just moved into a new spot. I was very fortunate that I had an area that I could work out in, that I had like a bunch of free weights and all these things that people didn't have access to, you know, and part of that was because I was with Fitbit, you know, getting into this role as the head coach, I got partially because of my military background. You know, I was able in the military to train soldiers to be fit while we're deployed, to be able to lose weight while deployed, to be able to mentally and physically deal with whatever was being thrown at them, right? And so when I came into the audition for the Fitbit job, you know, I basically just told my story, and then I put the producer through a workout, and it, you know, it was a short 5-minute workout, but I kicked his butt, you know, like because this is the hardest workout I've done, and I've done all day, and I go to the gym and lift weights all the time. And I was like, well, yeah, you don't even really need weights. You can use your body weight, you know, and got him moving, got him sweating, got his heart rate up, and was able to coach him through it, right? So he could feel the movements, he could see how to progress the movements to make them more challenging, to regress the movements to make them easier. And as we get fast forward into the pandemic, that's what people needed, right? Like it was, I forget who brought it up. One of the scholars mentioned it about exercise being great for mental health and for stress, and that's perfect. That's exactly what was needed during the pandemic, right? And I felt fortunate that I had the space, I had the equipment, I had the ability to extend this gift of fitness to give people a break from the stress of COVID, you know, and all the things that were going on around them, all the stressors of, you know, police reform, George Floyd, all the stuff that was also happening at that same time. There were just so many things happening, especially in America and globally. It was a bit of an awakening, right? And so I would really, again, on the service side, was able to take the two halves of myself and make a bit whole, that service and that physical fitness, and then give that gift to the world.
I think it's a beautiful thing, and I want the scholars to think about this, that everything comes in its perfect time and begets something. Adrian was done with that particular chapter of the military, and yet the way he trained those soldiers was so applicable for him to show his stuff and win that audition for Fitbit, and then inadvertently become an on-camera personality. It's a beautiful thing when we see the phases of our, nothing is for naught. We're always building upon our foundation. You know, Adrian, in Nigeria, they were not hit as hard with the pandemic. There was some sheltering in place at first, but COVID had not, thank God, hit there. But my scholars were well aware of what we were going through. And they were also aware of what was happening in the civil rights movement. Adrian just mentioned George Floyd. That was a horrible tragedy where an innocent African-American man was brutalized and killed by the police. And this was during the pandemic, and people had had enough, and many, many people stood up for Black people's equality and rights. And my students in Africa did know about that. And Ephraim, our artist in residence, had drawn this most beautiful painting of a bird who happened to be very free. And I wound up purchasing it and framing it. And in honor of George Floyd, we named the bird Floyd. Isn't that amazing? You'll talk about that a little bit later, Ephraim. But what I wanted to mention is during that whole time of becoming known on the world stage with Fitbit, giving your gift to many people at large and around the world, and also finding private peace with who would soon be your beautiful wife, and then having a child, and all these wonderful photos we see that are so endearing. You had done something very special for Black History Month, which we have in America. It should be every month, of course. Equality should be always. And I seem to have missed it. I don't know why. I didn't know what was going on at that point at Fitbit, but you were doing special events for Black History Month. and they looked so interesting in retrospect. I think you had guest speakers on, some had to do with dance and movement. Is there any one of those that you recall that stands out most to you, or that was most resonant to you, or maybe you learned the most from?
Yeah, so around Fitbit Black History Month, there were two things that really stuck out and struck me. First off, when I organized that, that was the first time Fitbit had ever done anything for Black History Month. And that was on me coming to them and saying, hey, what are we doing this month? And they're like, out of President's Day? I don't know. And I'm like, no, it's Black History Month. What are we doing for Black History Month? They're like, oh, we don't have anything planned. So I said, well, why not? And they said, well, if you plan it, we'll give you a budget and you can do it. So that was the first thing. Like, they didn't have, as a company that had been around, I think at that point for 12 years, they had never seen it as important or felt the need to do anything. And so I went and I changed that, and they've done something every year since. So that was the first thing that to me was very important. Second, I'd say the dance aspect was probably the most eye-opening and the most fun to do. I'm great at many things. I'm not great at dancing, but I did give it my all in participating in that. And the woman that led that dance class, she basically showed the connection between Cuban, Latin, and American jazz dancing. And that thread, I know it's kind of a thread that we've been talking about, right? But that thread through dance that unifies all these different types of dance that some may classify as, oh, this is Latin, or this is that, or this is this, and they're all African, right? Like, and so she had the thread going from the Americas through Latin America, through Central America, through the Caribbean, back to Africa, and it was all just one beautiful moment of learning different dances and then ending with a big dance party. So yeah, I thought that was great.
If when you guys follow Adrian on Instagram, there's a classic shot of him taking this dance class, and he's a very tall man, and your leg is up and you're just having the best time with, I think, with Lisa too, but it's just a classic shot, and we commend your bravery. And yes, as usual, all paths lead back to Mother Africa. There is that intrinsic thread. We know, scholars, when I see you dance and you're going to events and parties and weddings, there's nothing like the dances you do. And I watch and try to steal some of your moves when I go to a wedding. I have one last question. This is such a fascinating segment. I'm enjoying it so much, Adrian. You are not only one of the kindest people I know, but one of the most joyful people. And when you share parts of your life in the social media, it's never with any ego. It's to welcome us in and to maybe let us think about our own joy, because we all do it uniquely. And it's part of a brotherhood and a sisterhood for women that are looking in that you share with us. You have so many friends and so much diversity in your life. It's the chicken or the egg question. Do you think you were always elementally a joyful person? Because some people are more brooders and ponderers and tend to be more depressive. Were you always joyful, or do you feel that your life's journey and your passion for fitness and movement fostered more of the joy?
That's a good question. I think it's probably the latter, that, not that I am very brooding, but I do tend to be a bit more introverted and introspective, which can, and quiet, right? But that can sometimes be seen as maybe a bit brooding and not as happy. I remember as a kid, I would be in an environment, I would just kind of observe and not just jump right in, and everyone's playing and doing things, and I'm just kind of watching and seeing, what's going on, who's doing what, but making my decision of, okay, do I want to go and play here? Do I want to go and do that? And I get asked, like, oh, what's wrong? Are you all right? I'm like, yeah, I'm totally fine. I'm just kind of sussing things out, getting a lay of the land and observing before making a decision on how I want to act. And that's how I tend to approach most situations. However, I think part of it too is getting some improv and stage acting classes tends to make you be a bit more spontaneous, right? And then leading classes, fitness classes, I've led thousands of classes now at this point. So getting up in front of people and being on, right? Being the energy that they need, because they're coming in early morning after work, tired. Maybe they had a bad day, they don't feel like being there, but they signed up, so they're here anyway. And so you need to be that positivity, you need to be that voice, you need to be that energy for them. And then even with one-on-one clients, it ends up being a bit of a therapy session almost, where you're talking to them, trying to find out what's going on with them mentally, physically, emotionally, to get the best out of them in the session. And so in doing all that, multiple times, now that's a part of me as well, right? And so I can bring it up and bring it out for myself when I need it, when I know or feel myself being a little bit more introverted than I should be in a situation. It's like, no, you're here to have fun. Let's go out, turn it on, let's go. And then my social battery is a lot bigger now than it used to be. So yeah, I think the fitness side definitely has helped me become a bigger, brighter person. Not that I was, down and depressed, but I could tend to be a little bit more introverted than I'd like to be.
That is a fascinating and almost unexpected answer, because the easy route to the answer would be, well, of course, Robert, if you get up and do it and do your fitness and bring up your endorphins, of course, it's going to make you more joyful. But everyone listening, the answer is so philosophical, because you're in many ways saying that your gift and passion for fitness and it being of service to others has brought you the joy. Mm-hmm. That's your offering to the world. So,
absolutely.
Wow. I really appreciate your going the mile with me in this Q&A. And we have a couple of more students that joined us. Gideon, our civil engineering major, and lovely Janet, who is our biology education major, and Eka Carey, who's doing so well and is almost at the end of his run in mechanical engineering. So welcome. And before we give Adrian the floor to really get up and go, because here's a quote from Adrian after all this lofty philosophical stuff that he and I are doing with you. CPU, calling, passion, uniqueness. Adrian says, simplicity is not overthinking the obvious. Just get up and get going. So after all this, we're going to get up and get going. But friends, I want to open the forum for just a few students. What did you think about our interview with Adrian? It's so specific to his journey, his passion, his calling, his gift to the world. And it couldn't have been any more beautifully orchestrated, and we were winging it. See, we weren't waiting to be perfect. But how did that resonate with your journey? Would someone like to talk about that? Maybe Ephraim, that's my staff, one of my students. Please, someone unmute and tell me what you're thinking. Come on, don't be shy.
Yeah, well, listening to Adrian has opened my mind to a lot of aspects that I didn't really think of. That's the truth. The question where you asked us about our calling, our passion, and how we use this thread to affect the society. I looked into my life while I was hearing the stories, especially the part where he said jumping up and blowing things up. that got to me, and I was like, what do I really do? Then I looked into my life. I remember the aspect of being a university teacher, and I was asking myself, what is my calling? How am I affecting people? And there was a part where I told myself, I inspire the next generation through the courses I teach, the area of light, sound, and scenery for film and live theater. Helping them learn how to make sound effects with environmentally friendly materials for the Foley aspect of art. Then, as a radio presenter, as a freelance radio presenter, how my program has impacted society, where people call in to talk about what happened to them during the week, and we get to listen to them and motivate them. Callers call in to say things like that, and why other callers also call in to inspire them and tell them, okay, this also happened to me, and this is the way I was able to go through and survive this. So that's one way I think my life has been able to help people from the radio. Then a few others, as a DJ, I noticed that I resonate tracks that inspire joy and make people happy, make them feel good about themselves. So those are the few ways I have taught. Then the last part, but not the least, being the executive director of AAHEF, how I have been able to use my ideas, and to support our boss's idea, Mr. Roberts, in inspiring students educationally and supporting them, motivating them, making them believe in themselves and becoming a global student. So I looked at this and I'm like, wow, Adrian has really made me think about this part of my life, which I wasn't really considering as anything. Thank you, Adrian. Maximum respect.
Thank you. That's great. It's great to hear.
Thank you.
That exemplifies beautifully, the concept that as authentic as Adrian is, and we know him to be, and this wonderful fellowship that he and I had over a meal in England, we basically shared a different type of fellowship with all of you. And as specific as we were to his authenticity, it made you think about your own unique path. But I want to add to it. And you're the director of academic achievement. I'm the executive director, but that's okay. I'm teasing you. Oh, because you called yourself the executive director. I'll get you later for that. So I'm teasing. It's all right. But
he's getting a promotion.
No, I thought I said our executive director. I thought I said that. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about
the mix-up.
What I want to say, because I know you so well, is you are jumping out of planes and blowing things up because you're running to the radio station and making people feel better. You're running to the university teaching students and working then, with theater and sound design and future world leaders, being a leader yourself. You're being a good father to your very gifted son and a good husband. And then you're our director of academic achievement. You're basically metaphorically jumping out of planes and blowing things up. And my point is, don't you need fitness and self-care to have more stamina to do all that? Because in many ways,
I do.
Right?
I do, of
That's
course.
why we're here today.
Yeah.
All right. No,
yeah.
I think we really do, as Adrian also talks about, take the action and wait for the perfectly imperfect moment to take the action. I would love to say hello to Gideon and Janet and Ekekeri. Maybe we'll hear from one of them, and then we want to give the floor to Adrian because he has breathing and he wants to get us up and do whatever he wants to do with us because his time is very special and a gift to us. Would Ekekeri or Janet or Gideon like to say hello and tell us how the interview with Adrian resonated with them? Janet, you are always so lovely in what you have to say. Come and join us.
Hello, everyone. Good evening. Good evening, Dad. And
hello.
Good evening to who met you, Sir Ephraim, Sir Aldrin, and the rest. Okay. I love the teaching of Sir Aldrin and how it impacts us with a little we had and more we will be developing. Okay, talking about exercise, it do help us in our fitness, our health, also maybe when sometimes feeling sick, whenever I exercise, I feel strong again, I feel healthy. and it also helps us in stamina too, and maybe body weight loss, for those who have a lot of weight and want to reduce it. It helps in killing off some fats. That is how they call it in calories. Yeah. So that's it.
We're so happy to hear from you, Gideon. I've known Gideon for so many years, and he had a dream, and we wanted to stick with him. And I've seen you grown, Gideon, in your confidence. And we were all complimenting Adrian when we got on. Everyone's saying he looks younger than last time because he's Mr. Fitness, but you look incredible. You have a glow about you and a confidence. And I'm so glad that these fitness tips and these self-care tips help you to embrace what's unique unto you, because that civil engineering course is so heavy and you seem more balanced than ever. I'm very proud of you, and thank you for sharing.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. I was calling on Janet, but I think she fell out, so I'm bringing her back in, and we'll get to Janet and Ekakeri soon. Adrian, the floor is yours. What would you like to do? Whatever you want.
All right. Well, I feel like we've been sitting for a while, so I'm going to get some movement of the body. We'll start doing something while we're in our seats, and then we'll get up and really get the blood flowing. You may recall from our last meeting back in October that finding movement when you're stuck at your desk, either coding for the engineers there or artists. I remember we were discussing wrists and hands getting cramped from doing too much drawing and writing, or even just typing, or even at the mic, right, doing VO. A lot of times you're just locked in a certain position for so long, the body gets stiff, the mind gets stiff. So it's important to take breaks and get the blood flowing. There's actually been studies that show that short bursts of cardiovascular activity really help to get the brain neurons fired and help you think more clearly, so that problem or that thing you were stuck on, you find a way to figure it out and to move forward. Whatever the issue was that you were maybe thought was insurmountable, the stressor, it really is a way for you to get past it. So long-winded way of saying, we're going to take a small movement break here. We're going to start just rolling the shoulders, bring them up, down, and back. Mine are kind of popping a little bit. Bring them up to the ears, roll them back, and put them back down in the back pockets. Up, back, and down. A couple more. Last one. Okay, let the arms hang to the side. Yep, Robert, you're right. Where we're going straight to the neck. So let the ear fall over to one side. Let the head get heavy. If you need, you can let the hand gently pull it down. Sitting up nice and tall when you do this. If you're standing, you could also do this standing, but if you're seated, you can do it from your seat. Okay, gently let that go. We're going to go to the other side. Let gravity do the work at first. You feel that stretch all the way down the neck and back, and if you need a little bit more, let that hand gently assist. Breathing. Let that go. Now, we tend to look down a lot, right, at our phones, at our keyboards. So we're going to go the opposite way, sitting up nice and tall. We're going to let the chin go up, the head go back. Shoulders relaxed. Now, this might feel awkward if you haven't, or feel weird, or feel strange if you haven't done this before. Keep the core nice and tight. We don't want to get into the low back here. This is all about the neck and the neck muscles. Keep breathing. A few more seconds. Okay, slowly and gently bring the head back up. All right, bring the arms up nice and tall. Big seated stretch. Grab one wrist and pull it over to the side. Grab the other wrist, pull up, and then over to the side. All right, let's stand up. Get your chair out of the way, find a little space. You don't need a ton of space. We're gonna do all the stuff standing here. We're not gonna get down and do any push-ups or burpees or anything, even though I do love a good burpee. We'll save that for another day. So we're gonna stick with the shoulders here. This movement is called a overhead shoulder roll. So if you recall, we started doing our shoulder rolls like this. We're gonna get the arms up this time and then roll the shoulders this way. It takes a little bit more coordination. You're gonna really feel the back muscles and the scapula moving. And again, you wanna keep the core tight, right? So you're not here, right? But you're pulling the core in and letting the shoulders do all the work. And for the scholars, for anyone that's at a desk, this is what you need to really open up the chest, open up the shoulders, and get out of that what we call kyphotic position where the shoulders tend to be rounded and in from typing, writing, looking at the phone, right? We want to open everything up, allow yourself to breathe. All right, so shake that out. Grab the palm, push it forward, stretch out the wrist. You can go the other way. Switch hands, big forearm stretch, finger stretch. One more time on the other side. Shake that out. Let's open up the hips now. Again, sitting really gets the hips tight, which we don't want. Tight hips can lead to a lot of low back pain. And a lot of times you think oh, my back is tight. I need to foam roll my back, or I can't deadlift or squat or exercise like I want to because I have a bad back. Well, if your hips are tight, if your glutes are tight, that can present in the low back. So we're just gonna do some hip openers here. If you need to, you can hold onto a chair or a wall, but we're gonna bring the leg up, out, and down, and then up, in, and down. So up, out, down, up, in, down. We're staying on the left side or whatever side you're on. We're gonna do one side at a time. Really controlling the movement. So I'm not just swinging the hips in and out, right? You'll notice everything is still. Only thing really working is that hip. So if you need, hold onto a chair, hold onto the wall, and make each part independent. Up, out, down, up, in, down. Really try to control it. It might be burning a little bit now. That's the point, and that's your body saying you need to exercise your hips more. We'll do one more, then we'll switch sides. Pull it up, pull it out, set it down, pull it up, pull it in, set it down. All right, give it a little shake, and let's go to the other side now. Same thing. Go at a pace that works for you. It's not about the number, it's really just about the motion. So we're lubricating those hips, opening things up, inviting some movement into the body, breathing. See Robert doing a really good job of that. Breathe it in, breathe it out. Again, focusing on the movement, quality of movement. That's what we want. We don't want to just go through the motions. And that's the same in life, right? Like when we're exercising, there's a lot of parallels to how we live our life. You want to move with a purpose. You want to do things in your life with a purpose, live a purposeful life, right? We're not just doing things just because, we're doing them because of the impact they have, because of the purpose they have in our life. And similar with the exercise, the impact this is going to have on your body, the impact it will have on your longevity, right? I know you're all young scholars, but when you get up in age, you want to be able to feel good. You don't want to be old and stiff, old and broken down. We'll do a couple more here. You want to be older and thriving. One more. And you may notice your body feels different left to right. That's totally okay. The body is not perfectly symmetrical. We do have these asymmetries in the body. And that's why we train each side independently. So take a wider straddle now. And we're just gonna do some alternating lateral lunges. So like, again, the movement starts in the hip. The hip shifts back, the knee bends, the body goes to one side. Then we come back to center, pushing off. And then the hip moves back on the other side, knee bends. And we come back up to standing. Core is engaged, hip goes back and up. I'll show you this one from the profile so you can see it. Hip moves back, knee bends, body goes down, come right back up to center. Hip moves back, knee bends, back to center. Now you're gonna feel that through the inner thighs, you're gonna feel it in the hip, you're gonna feel it in the glute. Keep on going. Go to a depth that works for you. Don't feel like you have to force it. The more you do these, the more your body will be able to go further down. Now make sure you're pressing with your entire foot when you go down and up, not just the toe. That hip is behind you, that glute is pressed back. We're gonna do one more each side. And we're really getting to the strength of the thighs, the strength of the glutes. Last one. Good job. Again, shake that out. Let's get a little cardio going. We're gonna get the blood going now. So yeah, we'll start with that one. You're right there, Robert. We're gonna start with some marching, nice and easy. Nice and easy. Do marching it out. Find a beat. If you have a metronome or a song you wanna put on, just march to that. The arms are moving nice and gently back and forth. If you want to get the arms really involved, you can make them big marches. It's up to you. We're going to do some jumping jacks here in a moment. Just, again, inviting some heart rate elevation into our day. All right, shake that out. Last little thing here, we're going to do some jumping jacks. Sometimes called a side straddle hop, that's what we call them in the military, sometimes called star jacks. It's a simple movement where the arms go up, the legs go out, and you jump in and out with the arms and legs together. All right, we're gonna do a total of 20, and we'll do them together. So we'll go on my count. I'll count them out. 3, 2, 1, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. All right. Hope you feel a bit warm. Heart should be moving a little bit faster now. The blood should be moving a little bit faster. The body should feel a bit looser than when we were seated. We'll stay standing here for this next little bit now that we've excited the body. I think it's time to do a lot of everyone's favorite part, that excitement of breath. So we'll start first, just some gentle rounds of deep breathing. So if you want to let the arms get involved, you can. If you want to just kind of stand naturally, you can. If you want to close the eyes, whatever feels natural to you. There's no real right or wrong way to do this. It's just getting the body prepped for the breathing exercises. So deep breath in at your own pace and out. Again, deep breath in and out. Deep breath in and out. Now, as we're doing these deep breaths, make sure you're active through the diaphragm. So we're really activating the belly. We're not just breathing in the lungs. If it helps, you can put a hand on your belly and we'll do another round of deep breathing. So deep breath in, should feel it expand, and out. Again, deep breath in, and out. Okay, let's get into that lion's breath. We'll do this one together as a brief reminder of what it is. Now, these different breathing exercises, they're always available to you whenever you need them. They're great for just calming the body, activating that vagal nerve, inviting some internal calm when the body is physically stressed or mentally stressed. Just go and find a quiet corner. Say, hey, I'm gonna go take a walk real quick. Even I got to go to the bathroom. Go to the bathroom. Take a big breath in, and let it out. In and let it out. One more time. Big breath in and out. Good job. All right. That's it for the exercises we're going to do today. Again, there are other breathing exercises that are available. I hope you still have the last video. If not, I can put something together and have Robert share that out with you. These short breaks are fantastic whenever you have a lot of work to do. Even before you go in for a big test or you know you have a big meeting, just do a little bit of movement, right? Get the body moving. It'll help to settle the mind, help to have you be more focused, and help you to be more successful on whatever task lies ahead.
Thank you so much. You know, personally, talking about what's authentic to everyone is authentic to you, I needed that. I have to take a train later to get to my familial home, far from where I live. I'm taking care of my mom, as many people know. There's a huge festival outside. There's music blasting through my windows. I'm ignoring it. No one's hearing it. That's fine. And I was having lower back pain on my left side. And thank you, how illustrious to remind that it could be the need for opening the hip. It made me feel so much better. Also, the way we can sit so intensively on the internet, making a comment, there's a deadline, and you don't realize how crunched your neck is, et cetera, et cetera. And as Adrian is saying, take those breaks. Take those breaks. Just like jumped in about how the interview made him feel, forgive me, I just had to share it, how wonderful that made me feel. Changed my whole energy.
That's fantastic. I love to hear it. And I feel more energetic and I feel great for having done it. So selfishly, I know it's for y'all, but I feel good as well. So I'm glad I was able to give that with you and give that to you and participate with you in doing so.
You know, what's the funny question? What if we did that first, would our interview have been any different? Isn't that interesting? But I still think our interview was great. We needed probably that quietude and that brainiac kind of thing. But as Adrian said, we needed to get up on our feet. I'm thinking, Adrian, what do we think we should do next? I know your time is valuable. Should we open it up to some Q&A to the students, or is there something else you wanted to discuss, like sleep and nutrition? I know, by the way, friends, yeah.
No, go ahead.
We do have the video from last time on YouTube, and this one will be in about a week on YouTube. So, because this is just golden stuff. This workout is tremendous. But go ahead, Adrian.
Yeah, I was just going to share a couple of other tidbits before we open it up to everyone, and then it won't go too long. That I think having a little bit of a dialogue to close things out would be great. So essentially, just wanted to remind everyone, right? What is fitness? We've touched on it last time. We're touching on it again today. But fitness, at the end of the day, is self-care, right? If you can take care of your physical and mental and emotional health, being more fit in those areas, you're going to be better all the way around, right? Your body, yourself is going to be better. You'll be a better partner, spouse, business partner, student, businessman, soldier, everything, right? And so we tend to focus fitness just on the physical, like, how many squats, how many press-ups, how many pull-ups, whatever. But there's a huge emotional component to fitness. There's a huge mental component to fitness, right? there's a huge social component to fitness, right? Like doing things by yourself versus doing them in group. So, you know, one-on-one fitness versus group fitness, right? Always staying at home and doing a video versus going to a class, right? Or tapping a friend and saying, hey, you know, I'm going to go for a run. You want to go run with me versus always running by yourself, right? Like that social component is huge for you physically and mentally and emotionally. So don't neglect that. It's something I wanted to share just on the fitness side of things. And then looking at your gifts, right? Figuring out what they are. You know, this has been touched on with some of the students has shared, you know, what their gift is. Maybe they're still trying to find it. That's okay too. For me, it took a bit of self-reflection and having conversations with people as well to see that, oh yeah, service and being of service is a big part of my gift, right? Of that line for me. You know, yes, fitness is a part of that as well, right? But what it all kind of comes back to is that service aspect and how I can be of service to others. How can I help others? What can I do to not enrich myself, but to enrich the lives of others? Because when you enrich others, you inevitably enrich yourself, right? So I think focusing on that will help you to help you to find what your gift is and your passion if you're at a loss. And then just really sitting down and thinking about it, maybe doing some journaling, talking to your mentors, you know, your friends, the people that are really closest to you, and having these conversations with, you know, things that are really important, and find out what resonates. And they say, oh yeah, you've been doing that since you were a kid. And you're like, really? Like, oh, I had no idea. Like, yeah, you've always talked about that. You know, it's not just something that you just started last year or, you know, the year before that, right? Like you really have to have these conversations and really have these moments of quietness to find the clarity with yourself. What else do I have here? Yeah, so Robert touched on this as well, right? The time will never be right. You just have to start today, you know, and make that incremental progress along the way, and find out ways to continue to optimize and get better every day. You know, there are going to be setbacks inevitably. That happens. That's part of life. You know, life is not a linear course. It's not a ladder that we just climb and it goes all the way to the top and we just keep going, right? There's going to be moments where you're up, moments when you're down, moments when you don't really necessarily know that the direction you're going is the right direction, but you're just going because you know that's where the direction you need to go, right? And you have to trust yourself and trust that you're in the right place at the right time, and that what you're doing is the right thing, you know, and that at the end of the day, it will be all right. You know, have that faith, right? We've talked about faith early on in the call, and I want to bring it back to that. Just have that faith in yourself, have that faith in God or whatever your belief system is, that higher power, and have the faith that things will work out for you, and having that positivity. It's huge. As you think, so you are, right? And so if you think you can't do it, then you're right, you can't. If you think you can, then you inevitably you will. And so just remember that, you know, no matter what you're going through, whether it be a test, whether it be a military program, whether it be a meeting at work, something with your spouse or partner, something with your kid even, right? Like your kids test you all the time. I'm learning that now. As Atlas is a toddler, you know, toddlers are very opinionated, and they say a lot of things that I'm sure they don't really mean or know what they're saying, but it can be very challenging. And so you just have to trust the process and keep going and know that you're doing the right thing. The last thing I wanted to say here is you want to, getting back to your passion and your dream, your gift, once you find it, you got to develop your system, right? To really dig in and lean into it. So it's like, okay, great. Fitness is my thing. Service is my thing. How am I going to develop that? Well, it's by putting myself around people, by challenging myself to go to that next step, right? Taking that audition was a huge step for me. I'd never done anything like that before in my life, but I believed in myself, and I believed that what I was doing was right and that it would work out. And I threw my hat in the ring and I went for it, right? And so similarly, having that faith in yourself, developing that system once you do get to a certain position, to continue to go, continue to strive, continue to move forward. The worst thing you can do is get to a certain level or get to a certain position, graduate, and then stop learning, right? Plateau, stop trying to move forward, stop trying to better and develop yourself to become even better fitness instructor, being sharper, right? Being all these things that your passion has led you to get to thus far. This isn't the end of the road, right? You're still on the journey. So develop these systems that will enable you to continue down this road without having setbacks. And then lastly, what's the secret, right? Well, the secret is there is no secret. You got to focus on the fundamentals. You got to stay focused on what you're doing and have progress over perfection. If you focus on having things be perfect, you'll never get where you want to go. You'll never get started. You'll have that analysis paralysis, and well, there's always, oh, it could be a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Well, by that point, things have passed you by, right? So just put it out there, keep working on it as you're going, and you're going to be great. So excellence in health, mastery, and not allowing yourself to just be satisfied with that small accomplishment, because you're meant for greater things. It's a path that takes time, energy, intention, but the effort is worth it. And lastly, we talked about jumping out of planes and blowing things up. That's a big metaphor. That plane can be, again, taking that audition. It can be applying for that job. It can be talking to, pitching your business to that person. It can be approaching that person that you've always wanted to talk to, maybe you have a crush on. It can be a whole host of things, right? That's the jumping out of the plane and blowing things up. Sometimes you have to start over. It's like, hey, well, I tried this, it didn't work. That's fine. Failure is not bad. Failure is an opportunity to learn, right? And so you failed. What did you learn? Great. Blow that up. Let's start again and move forward. And I'll leave it there.
Adrian, what a brother you are to me, personally and professionally. I couldn't have said any of that any better. And it's like a workout. You just vibrate on all cylinders when you hear what you imparted. It's like a wonderful graduation speech you would give as a special guest. It just puts everything together that we've been working for in our ethos. And yet it's said uniquely per your concept. Just awesome. Thank you so much. That's very transformational. And thank you also for respecting what we kind of are doing in our shift and so carefully incorporating that. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Thank you. I'm glad it resonated. And again, I hope it resonated with scholars as well.
That's what counts the most. Yes, let's open it up. I know it did. Someone jump in and tell us how you're feeling.
Okay.
Hi, everyone. Okay.
Oh,
oh, hello.
Our artist, our superstar.
Hi,
What's up, little man?
good evening, everyone. And good evening, Mr. Adrian. Thank you for this session. It had been beautiful. I know last session was awesome, but this one was extremely great. So I've actually been doing stretches because of what I do as an artist. So I'm always crouched like this, working, and sometimes I stand and work and all that. But so I've been involving myself in a lot of stretches, been doing a lot of stretches. I see so many stuff on Instagram. I download them, and but today's stretch, especially the one where you had us bend and then thrust our hips out, to do the whole thing. I mean, I felt it deep down there, and I feel like my spirit is elevated. So okay, so I'm also a theater person. Um, I've been privileged to be under the tutelage of Mr. Nesfield, who was my professor back in university, and we are used to, doing exercises before we start and all that. So And also, I was also privileged to I was asked to take the children on drama back in church because so everybody quite know, okay, Ephraim is a fine artist and also a theater graduate. So I just did so I noticed the children were not bending, they couldn't bend because I told them that the beauty of dance. So I also took them on choreography too. So I told them the beauty of dance is, when there are diverse moves, so you can't just stand straight. You should bend, though yeah, there'll be a time where you have to bend and you bend well, especially African dances where you have to bend well to show the beauty, the aesthetics, in movement and all that. And so I took them in some knee. So we had to bend down, stretch and all that. They complain. These are kids of 10 and all that, 10, 13, and they complain of, oh, my thighs are hurting and all that. So I think I'm going to give them something more intense now. Maybe I'll take them. Maybe someone will be crying back home. Okay, so this has been beautiful. This was beautiful. Thank you so much. And also concerning the whole life thread thing you talked about the other time. Sorry, Mr. Robert, is this supposed to be short? I don't want to be too long. Okay, so concerning the life thread, so I noticed that we have some things in common. We started in church. I said in church also. I'm still in church anyway. Where from being a kid, in fact, the pastors in church helped to make my parents nurture they helped like advise my parents on nurturing my gifts in the arts, and from there, um in primary school, I'll be asked to, draw while others are writing. I have to draw on the board, while others are writing because, I had the ability of creating better diagrams than the teachers could, and all that. And then as life went on, just like you said, you diverted from, I think it was engineering to economics or so. So as life went on from the fine arts, I had this big dream of studying the fine arts and all that. And then I got to the university. I was told, oh, sorry, you don't have the credentials, of studying fine arts. In fact, I don't know where it came to switch to theater, So it just came at a very dying minute. Okay, you know what? I don't want to throw this admission away. Let me just switch to theater. And then I saw how even as a fine artist, how that theater, that theater profession has reflected in my arts. If you see my art, you see emotions, you see, soulful stuff and all that. You see people using their bodies and all that. So I relate so much with today's session, and I say thank you so much. That's you. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. That's really great to hear the connection, for the church and the arts, and like you're saying, it's we don't know why things happen or how it's going to happen. At the time, it's like, oh no, I couldn't get into finance. Like that's what I was dreaming of. Now I'm like, oh no, what am I going to do? But then you get into the arts and theater, and boom, it all works out, right? So it's it all happens for a reason, and I think you're where you need to be, and so that's beautiful. And definitely work those kids out, make them do some squats, make them do some jump squats, have them run up the hill, carry pick up some rocks, carry some rocks, do something. There's no reason 10, 12, 11-year-olds should be, legs should be burning from just doing some basic movements.
Yes, and then when you do the program for one of the theater, one of the plays you're putting on, you have to put Adrian as choreographer. Ephraim, our artist in residence, you should see his artwork, Adrian. It's phenomenal. I'll share it with you one day.
Yeah, share a link, please.
Thank you for your enthusiasm and excitement. That's what it's all about too. Thank you, Ephraim. Now, can we go back to so we could say hello, speaking of young people, to little Icon, age 7?
Yeah, hello, we're back.
Ah.
All right, so say hi.
Hi,
Big Daddy.
Icon.
Hey, what's up?
Good evening, Big Daddy.
Icon calls me Big Daddy. And Icon with us today is Adrian Richardson. He's
Hello.
a fitness coach. He's coming to us from England. Yes. Say
Yeah, I'm
hello
in London
to
right now.
yes. Say hello to Adrian, Icon.
Hi, Adrian.
Nice to meet you, Icon. Thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Icon is 7. Do you do a lot of physical fitness? I know your dad told me, and you showed me some videos, that swimming is one of your passions, right, Icon?
Yes, it is.
That's great.
So as the daddy, how do you feel about fostering physical fitness with Icon? I know that that's key for you.
Well, it's been great all the way. Just like you said, he loves to swim a lot. Yes, he enjoys swimming and he enjoys physical activities. And that was why he's been behind the scene trying to join us for a while. And I told him to calm down. That very soon he'll be up with us. He's been giving me signs. Can I come now? Can I come now? And here he is right now, all shy and feeling all quiet. Yeah. Thank you so much, Adrian. Thank you so much. I have a quick question for you, please.
Yeah.
And it's connected to our students. I was having in mind to ask, how does good nutrition help to inspire students' passion? Yes, I wasn't able to answer that. I had that in mind, the aspect of nutrition, because I remember during the making of the video, I came over that part where our executive director mentioned sleep and nutrition and all that. So the question popped up in my head. I'm like, okay, today I will get the privilege to ask you. So please help us so our students can get here.
Yeah, absolutely. So you may have heard a phrase before, you are what you eat, right? And basically meaning if you're eating junk food, well, garbage in is garbage out. So your body needs healthy, high nutritious food to move, to think clearly, to focus, right? And you'll find that when you're eating a nutritious diet, your thoughts are going to come more clearly. Your ability to stay focused will be a lot higher, and you'll physically feel better. Certain foods can make you also feel less stressed. I know being a student, there are a lot of highly stressful situations, and the body will want to stress eat, and maybe that means reaching for candies or sweets or something like that. The best way to combat that is to just not have those things in the house. Like I personally don't buy those things. I don't buy the junk food and the candy and stuff. But when I am stressed, I'll have some grapes or eat a handful of nuts or something that, even popcorn, right? So something that's still going to give me that ability to I need to snack on something and work because I'm like stressed out, but I need to chew on something and eat something, but it's not going to be a junk food or something that's highly sugar, high in fat, high in processed chemicals, right? So you want to try and eat as natural as possible and as low sugar as possible. And if it's sugar, then it's just fruit sugar, like grapes, strawberries, blueberries, something like this, not a blueberry flavored candy, right? Or a cherry flavored anything, right? You just want to have the real thing, because your body won't be able to eat nearly as many calories or as much sugar of a real pineapple than you would of, say, a pineapple candy lollipop or chocolate bar or anything like that, right? Similarly with nuts, if you're eating a handful of nuts, you're not going to be able to eat as many little nuts as you would a nut candy bar, right? And so you want to just really focus on that highly nutritious, mostly natural foods, and then don't overeat. When you're feeling stressed, get up, do a little exercise, do a little movement, take a walk, drink some water, do some breathing, and come back to it. And if you're really struggling with that, do a food journal for a week. Really just write down everything you eat and then go back and look and be like, oh wow, I was eating this. Oh, I had no idea. Okay, now I know my baseline. I know where I can shift, right?
Thank you so much. That was fantastic. I never thought of a food journal before, but this is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. Journaling is powerful, we know, right? For the mental health side, like you're writing things down, getting out of your head. But for physical health, it's important as well, right? So even journaling when you're in the gym or working out, writing those workouts down, understanding that, okay, last week I did 100 push-ups. Maybe this week I try for 105 or 110, right? Same with the food. Last week I see that I ate, 5 times I had candy. Maybe I'll cut out 1 time this week and try to go for 4 instead of 5, and work your way down. Replace that bowl of whatever sugary food with something a bit healthier. It doesn't have to be everything. Like again, small incremental steps, right? Little by little, getting 1% better every time. So you don't need to take your entire diet and change it overnight. Just try changing 1 meal a week, and then from there 2 meals a week, and then slowly, it'll get better and better. You'll feel better, so you'll want to eat better.
Wow. Thank you.
I'm thinking, Adrian, we could give a little assignment to the scholars. I'll participate too, where maybe for a week after our meeting today, each of us will do a food journal. And again, even I don't need to repeat it, but even if incrementally we need to make those healthier choices, and maybe concurrently with the food journal, we could do a activity journal. Are we challenging ourselves to take that break and stretch, make our necks feel better, our hips feel better? Are we taking that walk? And, sometimes you're doing more things than you give yourself credit for, because we're, as we said in Adrian's narrative, we have to go to the gym. You know what? Maybe you walked a very long distance and did it briskly, and you want to remind yourself and give yourself that credit. So I'm thinking that could be an interesting assignment in the after echo of your appearance today.
Yeah, I think that could be very interesting. And if you don't have the ability or the time to physically write it down for your food journal, just take a quick picture on your phone of everything you eat. And then at the end of the day, you could go back and put it into an actual journal. But yeah, just in the moment, get out the phone. We all have phones, right? Like take a quick picture but it has to be of everything, right? So if you're grabbing a little snack, that goes in there, 1 apple, that goes in there, a big bowl of cereal, that goes in there, big sandwich, pizza, everything goes in there, right? And similarly with the activity, just jotting it down, I walked from the school to home instead of taking the bus, and that was 2 miles, took a lunch walk with Robert today, and then we walked, around the block, and that was like 1/4 mile, whatever, right? So just really getting all that activity down and not thinking you have to go to the gym, right? Sometimes we don't have to have time for the gym. Just do some squats and push-ups, whatever, in your room. Do with the stretches that we just did, right? Those lateral lunges, whatever you can do, just keep moving.
On Adrian's Facebook page under Adrian Fit Company, if I have it right, he has this incredible workout using what's called the bands. I've gone back to it a million times if I don't feel like going to the gym in my building. I may have been working hard, taking a nap. I get back up around midnight and I work out to this day with that video. I will definitely give everyone the link to that. And it's not hard to purchase bands. They're rather inexpensive. So there's another interesting thing. And by the way, you were mentioning Icon was anxious to come and join us stretching and such, because we're going to put today on YouTube within about a week. We're going to hold you, to go back to doing those stretch exercises, and then you can have Icon join you. So there.
Excellent.
All right, good. And we're so happy to see you, Icon, applauding too. We love you, Icon. Would one of the other scholars like to join with any thoughts? We're all feeling so good today. Emma or Samuel? Emma, by the way, Emmanuel, our student who's in medical pharmaceutical medical laboratory, makes the most delicious food from scratch. Such healthy food. So we're very proud of Emma for that. Any thoughts today, Emmanuel?
Okay. First of all, I want to thank you, sir, for coming up to give us this a wonderful section. It was actually wonderful. The exercise we did this evening, like stretching my leg and then trying to carry up my shoulder and see to it that I straighten it. It was actually, I felt more relief while doing them. And, sometimes exercise can be, so even when I make it as one of my times table, that maybe once I woke up, I will make sure that I do my exercise, and then before I do anything the next day. But sometimes, to do it constantly, it has always been a problem. But just doing that now, I felt more relief, and I believe that I will put it into my routine, as you say, and constantly do it. Then, secondly, Mr. Wim asked about feeding, and it's very, very nice. Mostly in Africa here, we are more of eating starch. Yeah, mostly in African here, we are more of eating starch, and we are told that we should do a routine for this. It's okay. So I would personally try to do my own food journal, to make sure that we send it when it's time. And let's see, I do cook. I do cook a lot, sir. I do cook a lot because you can't be buying food outside as a student. You'll not be able to survive. So you have to kind of cook on your own to make sure that you survive. So I really appreciate that. And another thing you said that really caught my attention was you saying wherever we find ourselves, we should make sure that we use it, and we should do all our best at any point in our life. And that really, really caught me. You say the right time at the right place, we should try as much as possible to do that. And then you say that we should also move by our faith, that we should go in faith, that whatever we are doing, we should go willingly, we should do it with faith, knowing that it will come out to be the best. So really, thank you very much for this section. I enjoy every moment of it, and it's nice to see Icon in our studio video today. Icon, how are you doing? I'm happy to see you. Okay, sir, thank you. I think that's the only thing I can contribute on what I have really gained today.
You're very welcome. Thank you for sharing.
Anyone else feeling moved to share a few words? Savior?
All right, sir. To be sincere, I really enjoyed today. Of course, meeting. I've learned a lot from the exercise so far. Actually, aside the motivational word given to us by the kinetic coach, I think I have learned a lot, and these are really helped me. Of course, by next week, because today's exercise was so more interesting. Even I was sweaty, to be sincere, that I feel some, kind of change in my system. So I think it was so helpful, especially I will be going to, of course, my camp on next week. And then I think by this exercise, this is some of the things that will be exercise. So I think this will give me an edge, of course. And aside that also, recently I've been engaging in teaching in secondary school. So, and then I think every Wednesday we used to do sport exercise. So I believe with this experience, with this experience, I will be able to also inculcate in the life of my students. So I really appreciate our coach, and of course, I thank you so much, sir, for the effort so far. To be sincere, this meeting really helpful, and then I will keep on with the word, because you talk about determinations. Whatever we want to do, we should put our mind there, and then try as much as possible to do what makes us happy. I think I go along. The word stick in my heart. So thank you so much, everyone, and thank you so much, Amibu Coach. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for sharing. Glad it really resonated with you.
Gideon, do you have a few words? We heard from you earlier. How do you feel after participating in such an interesting afternoon?
Not talking. See you. He's talking.
I don't know. Maybe we lost Gideon. No, Gideon's still with us. Can you unmute, Gideon? Maybe there's some conductivity problems. It's okay. At least we heard from Gideon earlier, which was so good. Before we go, would a scholar like to say anything else? Someone, perhaps Victor?
Yeah, thank you so much. I don't know if you're hearing me.
Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Who's speaking right now?
Okay. Okay, Victor.
Oh, yes, Victor. Yes, there you are.
Okay, I want to say that I feel so great after the exercise. You know, the last session we had as at October last year, I missed the exercise session as a result of poor network. So today I was preparing for it. So I want to say I feel relief after the exercise session because this week was so hectic. So, and the problem I've been having is, being consistent in terms of exercising every day. But I think starting tomorrow, I'm going to take it as a point of responsibility to be doing it every day, and also including a push-up every morning to see I can, improve my routine. I want to also go by saying that, and there is something that you really said that really motivates me. You said if you can take care of your fitness, you cannot be better or. You see, it's true because I can still recall when I was in school, and mostly when I was told to embark on independent mapping. You see, it's always a very hectic work where you have to map a particular location probably under 3 days. So it's always a task where you go out in the morning and come back in the evening. So most times when I come back, I always feel like my body is always pressed like such that I might not be able to go out again the next day or do anything. But I think I experienced that last week. But after this session, I was able to feel better. I feel great. I want to say thank you for that. I want to see how I can put that into action by repeating it starting tomorrow morning. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I think you touched on it, and a few others have as well. It's that consistency, and it doesn't have to be a lot. Just like you said, doing a few push-ups in the morning, a few stretches here and there, and just continuing to do it is what matters.
Yeah.
We have time for one more. Thank you, Victor. Your voice is wonderful, and it's so good to hear from you. Eka Carey, could you join us? You keep slipping in and out. Could we hear from you for a few moments? We're Sparrow. Are you still with us, Sparrow?
Yeah, I'm still on the call with you.
Okay. Any thoughts, Sparrow? And I see Eka Carey, you'll go next. Any quick thoughts, Sparrow?
Yeah, I really enjoyed the session, and I would say it's not really something new because someone that is in the medical field, and we've always been told by our lecturers many a times that exercise, good food is just the most best therapy for one's existence. So you always be advised that you eat very well, because whatsoever you eat, whatsoever you put into your body, that is what is going to come out. So like garbage in, garbage out. Then pertaining to exercise, in terms of running, for example, running regularly helps to clear out toxins in your lungs, making you to breathe properly. Then stretching and all will actually make you will make the blood in your body to flow properly. And you know quite well that the blood in our body helps to carry or to transport oxygen to where it is needed and takes out carbon dioxide sometimes. Yeah, takes out carbon dioxide. And even the food you eat, you need exercise to actually support the breaking down of your food so that you can actually derive nutrients. So fitness is actually very important for one's livelihood. Fitness is very, very important, and also the food you eat. In terms of junk food, a man know me very well that sometimes I usually don't have that time to prepare how stressful the school schedule is. And sometimes I may not even look, I could just take tea in the morning and maybe in the afternoon there won't be that time for me to go and eat. I'll just take junk. But I know that I've been lagging behind in that very aspect. But after today's Zoom call, which I've actually had, which I know that one need to eat good food, at least cooked food and also fruit, so to say. So I'll definitely improve on that aspect. And in terms of exercise myself, yeah, I do exercise. Yeah, I play football sometimes here in school. So I usually exercise myself. I know the importance of it. Sometimes I could feel this brain fog in my head. Like I could go blank at some point in my life. Like I could go blank at some point and I would just pick my football boots. I'll go to the field, stretch, play the football, come back, and I'll return back to my normal condition. So exercise is very, very important for one's livelihood. So I actually enjoyed the session, and it actually broadened my mind once again to actually remind me to go back to my drawing board and to follow up my schedule at the end of the day. So I enjoyed the very session, and thank you, Robert, for organizing this session. And also, I especially appreciate Mr. Adrian for joining us and saying these words to us. It's actually very, very pleasing, and it's very nice to hear from you. And also, I especially thank. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I especially thank Mr. Nelsfield for joining us in this very session. And I really enjoyed this question he asked about diet towards students. Yes, it's very, very important to eat well. Yeah, it's cool to eat well. Yeah, because without the energy, you need energy for everything you need to do in this life. Even as you're writing, you're expending energy. So you need food. And it's actually food that will give you the energy. So I enjoyed the very session. Thank you once again.
You're welcome.
Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for sharing.
You know, what's so interesting, Adrian, Sparrow is a future doctor, and his dream is to open a medical center for the impoverished where different types of specialists can be together. And the way he is expressing himself, and I'm talking about you, Sparrow, very positively, it sounds like a doctor is edifying all you told us. So it's a very interesting confluence of different shingles, the fitness expert and the future doctor. It's a beautiful thing. I loved what you said, Sparrow, and how you said it. So we have you as future choreographer, Adrian, and endorsed by a future doctor.
I'll take it.
Does anyone else want to say a word? Ekakeri, can you get in quickly? Poor Janet has been trying to come back in and keeps losing conductivity. I know your light went on for a second, Ekakeri, if you could get unmuted and say a few words. If not, it's okay. I think we lost Ekakeri.
Yeah, I don't think he's on the call any longer.
All right. I think we've said a million positive things about, the joke is eat your heart out, Oprah. Our seminar was just as good. We love Oprah, though. I just don't know what to say. This was just such a joyful escapade on a Sunday. And when you think about it, we have Adrian and his family in London, England. Here I am in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and all our scholars in various places in Nigeria. It's really such a unifying experience. And the thematic that we talked about today is so broad-based. As much as I loved getting up, and it was so important, I don't think I'll ever forget the interview that I did with Adrian, because it was so powerful and it made everyone percolate about their own histories. I can't thank you enough, Adrian. This was such a delightful seminar.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure to come back, for the second time, checking in with you and with the scholars, and yeah, just sharing my story and really sharing that gift, right? That's what it's all about, is how can we impact each other? How can we share our talents and gifts with each other and create a more positive world and positive future for each other? And so happy to be a part of it, and happy to share and join you and the scholars on this call. Thank you so much.
You have a lot of fans who always ask about you. My scholars are I'm sorry Sammy couldn't be here. He's busy in military. He's the one that did the lion's breath in the video. He always asks when you're coming back. So he will gladly watch the video that we're going to put up on YouTube. And our door at AAHEF is always open to you, Adrian. So you're welcome back anytime you wish. Friends, you can unmute. Last time I accidentally cut everyone off as they were saying a fond goodbye to Adrian. So unmute and please say goodbye to Adrian. You can talk.
All right. Thank you very much, Adrian.
Thank you so much for the session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Adrian, for the session, and we'll be glad to have you back anytime soon.
Janet, you're finally with us. You keep coming in and out. I hope you enjoyed today, Janet. I know you've been having some conductivity problems, but we're going to put the whole seminar up on YouTube, so you'll enjoy it soon. All right. I think everyone, did everyone say goodbye? Yes. All right. God bless you, Adrian, and we'll be in touch. Thank you again so very, very much.
Yeah. Goodbye.
Bye, sir.
Goodbye, everyone.